we are going to be making some step cards. What, like, you're probably thinking, what do you mean step cards? It's kind of hard to show. I'm going to do it like this. I think you can kind of see. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Okay. Do you see how it's like a little stair step? That's what I mean by step cards. So it's just a different way to fold, different cuts, different score lines. So I call this card a side step because you have the focal point here and then you got the side step. That's what I call it. So to do this card, you are going to start with a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of cardstock. So that's right here. We're going to do it in Whisper White. And this particular one I did do with a thicker Whisper White, which I really is nice because it's good and sturdy and it's going to stay up. I just grabbed a piece. This is not the thick, but I would recommend the thick. Going to bring my trimmer in here. And so, like I said, you're going to go to my blog tomorrow, and you're going to go to the photo gallery at the top, and you're going to key in, you're going to click on the album that says Step Cards, and then you're going to get the PDF for each one. It'll be like this, so it'll tell you how to cut and score and sweet. You won't get the details on the cards, like all the dimensions and all that, but you will be able to get, like I said, all the cutting and scoring for the step cards. So we're going to, with the 5.5 at the top, you're going to bring it over here to 1 inch. And you might notice this right here. Can you, well, you can't see it very well, but we're going to do a black card, and I couldn't see my numbers and my lines. So what I did was I took a 12 by 12 piece of Very Vanilla, and I just cut it very thin, and then I used my fast fuse and stuck it there so that paper is underneath my numbers so they show up. What a concept. As I went to pick up Dean from play practice, I thought, Kai, there's got to be a way I can see them numbers. And then a light bulb went on, and I'm like, sweet. Came home, had to give it a try. Okay, we're doing side step. All right, side step. I got to get back on track here. We are going to line the edge up, the 5.5 at the top. We're going to line it up 3 3/8. So 3 3/8 is the line just before 3.5. Not the little line, the bigger line. And we are going to bring our cutter here down to 2 1/8. So 2 1/8. That little pointy thing sticking out of the cutting blade, that should line up at 2 1/8. Wherever that point is, that's where it's going to start cutting. So I want to cut from 2 1/8 down to 7 5/8. So I want to quit when that little point reaches 7 5/8. And I'm going to pick that up. And I'm going to turn this, and I'm going to put this back in at 2 1/8, which is where our top of our cut is. And we're going to score from the outside to the cut. So we're going to score. I want to make sure I get a good score there. And then we're going to move it down to 4 1/4. And we're going to go all the way across. And then we're going to go down to 5 1/2. And we are going to score from the outside to the cut. And then we're going to move it down to 6 3/4. I need to open up my thing here. 6 3/4 from the outside to the cut. And then 7 5/8, which is our last cut mark, from the outside to the cut. So there we have all our dimensions scored. Now you can see it's just kind of rick-rack back and forth. So I can lay it flat. So you're going to start here, and you're going to fold like this, like this, like this. And then we have our half here. And remember, oh, I didn't tell you, but this video is going to be on my YouTube channel, and it's going to stay up there. So you can go back and rewind and watch and rewind. So you get all that folding and everything down. Just make sure your creases are good, and there you have your cute step. So that is what I call a side step. Now, if you wanted the step to be on this side, the trick I would do instead of rescoring everything is just fold it the other way, and then you do this like this, and then you'll have the step go in the other direction. Then you don't have to rescore. But that's just what I would do. Whoops. All right, there we go. So another thing I like with these step cards is I wanted to put a family photo here, and then have this be our Christmas card. So you could put a family photo here, and then on your little steps you could put a Christmas saying from the Calkins family. You know, you can add all different things, but I think that would be a very gorgeous Christmas card with your family photo on the front. But we are going to be doing this one right here. We're going to use our window, which is, I think it's called Festive Fireplace. It's a bundle. And then this stamp set here, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name, but I can look later if you would like me to tell you what it is. But we're going to go ahead and create this window scene here. So we are going to start with a piece of Whisper White, and this is cut, let me see here, 3 by 3 7/8. No, that's the Night of Navy. Night of Navy. This is 2.5 by 3 1/4. 2.5 by 3 1/4. The Night of Navy is 3 by 3 7/8. Okay. Now you'll notice I have a little moon image here. What we're going to do is get my little bag of tricks here, and we're going to take a sticky note, and you want to place that on another piece of paper, and you're going to come in with the 1-inch circle punch, and I just want to get a piece of that sticky. But the reason I don't want to just punch my sticky note is because I don't want the sticky in my punch. That would not be good. And then you can peel this off, and then that's sticky, and then my moon is going to go right there. And then I'm going to come in with some Night of Navy ink, and I have my little sponge, and I'm just going to sponge over that circle, and you can do it as light or as dark as you like. Oops, you don't want to do that. We would have a half a moon. Now if I did red, we'd have the blood moon. So however dark, light you want to do it, you peel that off. There's your moon. It's bright white tonight. Going to take our little Santa here in the sleigh. And he's going across. This is all from the same stamp set. And then we're going to take the little house here. Stamp that at the bottom. And that piece is done. We can go ahead and attach that Night of Navy to our, I'm going to lay that out flat so it's just easier for you to see. Attach our Night of Navy. This shirt is going to drive me nuts. It keeps coming off my shoulder. To the front, like so. We can go ahead and attach this as well. We'll see how these cards go tonight because, you know, like before I was gone all week, and so I did some of this before I left. So we'll see how much. So
you're telling us it might not work.
So I'm telling you, it might not work. We've been there, done that.
Well, you got a lot of paper, so.
Yep. Okay, so because I want my window popped up, I'm going to use the side of my dimensionals. I love the little side strips for these thin little pieces. And you can cut little piece to go on the, well, I don't know if that's little enough. I'd like that little center. Geez, if it ain't red line tape sticking to me, it's dimensional. I'm just a staticky person, I guess. So these little framelits for the windows, I like to use wax paper in between the framelit and the cardstock, and it all this pops out really nice. And these do have a little detail here. This is the window sill, and on that we're going to stamp Have a Cozy Christmas. Sweet. Oh, I'm going to need that now. And then we're just going to go ahead and apply adhesive on that windowsill. Stick that. Hopefully I've got it pretty centered. Look at that. Okay, then the garland on top. This is from the, I think it's the Festive Fireplace. I stamped garden green on garden green and then cut it out with the coordinating framelit. So that's dandy. It's got that nice framelit that coordinates with it. So that is going to go on here. Keep within the perimeter of our card. And then it also has this adorable little bow. And I'm going to just take a little glue dot. Place that right there. And then I have some jewels. And we're going to put one right there in the middle. Cute. Now for my back step, I have a piece of Night of Navy. And this is 2 1/8 by 3 1/8. And I'm going to go ahead and just attach that only to the bottom. I just about messed up. I will put a little there. That way I know I went high enough. And that's going to go right here on this step. Then, whoops, I have a piece of white, and this is 1 3/4 by 2 inch. And I have the saying, "May the magic of the season fill your heart and home." And I am going to stamp that. Hopefully we're kind of straight. It's a little crooked, so the magic of pre-stamp. Oh yeah, see, I goofed on that side too. You seen it. Perfect. Okay, so the last thing for this card is I gotta have me a little sparkle. So I'm gonna take my 2A glue pen and I'm just gonna add glue to my trees and the roof of my house there. And then I'm going to come in with the glitter. I'm going to be glittery tonight because I'm doing it on 3 of the cards. There we go. All right. This is our Dazzling Diamonds. So I don't know if you can see that or not. That dazzle. And then we'll fold this back up. But there's your side step. Do like this. That works best. Cute. Cute. Side step. Love it. This one, the vertical step card, you're going to cut your cardstock 4 1/4 by 11. So we're going to go 4 1/4 by 11. I got to get this glitter out of my cutter. Okay, we're going to put it in at 1 inch. We're going to bring the blade up to 1 inch. And we're going to cut down from 1 inch to 6 1/2. Pick that up, slide it over, and then we have a nice 1 inch on this side, so it works out perfectly to line that up at 1 inch. Come back up here to 1 inch and cut down to 6 1/2. Turn your cardstock. You're going to start at the 1 inch, and you are going to score from the outside to the cut. Lift that up, come from the outside and go to the cut. So outside to the cut. Pick that up, slide that over to 2 inches. Outside to cut. Pick that up, outside to cut line. Pick that up. You're going to bring it over to 5 1/2. And at 5 1/2, what we're going to do is we're going to score from the cut line to the cut line. So just in the center. Pick that up, and now we're going to bring it down to 6 1/2, and we're going to score from outside to cut, and then outside to cut. And that is our scoring. I'm going to leave that open. So we're going to start, you're going to start in, and then like that. This is where you need that nice thick score line, and mine didn't score very deep. I might have to bring in my score trimmer. I had it. Ooh, I just about hit the camera. I had it just in case. And if I want a nice straight edge, I want that at 5 1/2. I'm going to just score that in there. Much better. I can just get a nicer, deeper score line. You know, black doesn't like to be scored. So you're just going to reinforce those score lines. Bottom. The key is to get them the score lines really nice and stiff. And there you have the vertical step card. So there, make sure I'm telling you the right one. 3/4 of an inch by 4 1/4. So I'm going to do like I did last time. Whoops. And fold that out so you can see the assembly on that. And you're just going to place those strips in there on each side. Simple, simple. Then I have a piece of Whisper White, this right here, and this is 2 inches by 4 1/4. I'm going to grab the stamps. And this is the Wonderland stamp set that coordinates with that paper. It's this one right here. Gorgeous. Going to use the new Archival Black. Love it. It's in the holiday catalog. I ordered another one today. I love it so much. And the gray, awesome. There's one little spot on that tree. There we go. I'm sticking. All right. We are going to stamp those trees. Love it. And then I have a little strip And this is 3/4 of an inch by 4. We're going to Silent Night. We're going to stick that on here. Oh, I want to go a little higher than that. I do a little higher, so that's good. We are going to use the new banner, triple banner punch. And when you have a little slip like this, it's best to just bring it around the back, center it in there like that, and there you go. Now, I think I might cut it down just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Somebody asked if the measurements are going to be on the website.
The measurements will not be on my blog, but they will be in the video because I'm putting the video up on YouTube. So they will be on the YouTube channel. So I'm going to place that there. I am done with the black. Where's my trees? Here's my trees. That is going to go here in the center. Now, have you played with these? These are the little wooden snowflake elements. They're right here, same page on the bottom. You can dye these with just pushing them into the ink pad. You can use a sponge and color them that way. What I did was, I'll just take one of these. Take my handy dandy two-way glue pen and spread that glue over the top. Bring in my dazzling diamonds. And look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Sparkly. I got one here already dried and done. We're going to place that right there. I'll set that one aside for next. We're going to take the black baker's twine, and I just fold it in half. I just grab some of it, fold it in half. I want a double bow, so I'm just going to tie a little bow here. I probably took a little bit more string than I needed, but that's okay. I know where you can buy more if you run out, not a problem. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a glue dot. You know what else would look gorgeous in the center is a rhinestone. Pretty. We're not done. Don't wait. Wait. We're going to add some more glimmer to our trees. And you don't have to worry about where you put the glue because it's snow, right? It might be on a branch and it might not. Depends how much wind there is that night, right? Bill's probably thinking you're whacked.
I'm thinking about that.
Yeah.
Usually don't stay on our trees. It just blows straight across into a big pile in front of the car.
Yeah, I'm not
Can you
looking
make a
forward
card
to
that looks
winter.
like that?
I'm not looking forward to winter. Ooh. Look at that sparkle. Cute. So there we are. There's your vertical step fold. Center step. Cute. Love it. And this one I call the horizontal center step because the other one vertical, this one is more squatty. So I say this is the horizontal center step. So we're going to use real red for our card base, and that is going to be cut 5.5 by 8.5. Bring in my score trimmer here again. So they're all cut 5.5 by 8.5, except for that vertical one that we just did. That was 4 1/4 by 11. So you're going to bring this in at the 1-inch mark. And we are going to start cutting from 1 inch. And we're going to go down to 5. Whoops, that's the scoring blade. Well, it's better I do it with a scoring blade and then not the cutting blade. Okay, so we're going to cut from 1 inch down to 5 1/4. 5 1/4. And then we're going to use our 1 inch on along the side here. And we're going to come back up to 1 inch and cut down to 5 1/4. Then we're going to turn it and we're going to line this up at the 1 inch. And now we're going to get our scorer in here. And we're going to score from the outside to the cut line. Pick it up. Outside to the cut line. I know those aren't going very deep. I might have to bring in my Simply Score to get a nice 2 inch outside to cut line. And outside to cut line, and then we're going to bring it to 4 1/4. And we just want to go from the cut line to the cut line. So we're inside of the cut lines. And then we're going to go to 5 1/4. And we're going to go from the outside to the cut. From the outside to the cut. Hopefully, they're very light. I'm going to just bring in my trimmer here a minute. So 1 inch, 2 inch, 1 inch, 2 inch, 4 1/4, and then 5 1/4. Much better. Okay, so I start with the front and then go back. So the front goes like that. That's going to go like that. This comes up here, just like that. Make sure you get them nice and scored. There we go. Now for this card, I use the Woodland Impressions folder. Now, if you join me every Tuesday on my blog in the whole month of September, I featured different techniques to use with the embossing folder. And I did a lot with this new Woodland Impressions embossing folder. Love this new folder. There's so many techniques you can do with it, and it's just gorgeous. So what I did was I cut a piece of Whisper White that was 3 3/4. Oh no, that's not right, because that's these 2 little strips, 3/4 of an inch by 3, and then this is 3 1/8 by 3 1/4. And then I ran it through, so you got the nice little impression in there. And then before I add my glitz and glimmer, I'm going to add my little red cardinals to the branches. So I'm going to just ink that up. And this little red cardinal is from the Festival of Trees, I think it's called. It was last year that got carried over to the big catalog. So that's where that little birdie came from. While I got my red out, I'm going to take my strip here, and this is 3/4 of an inch by 5 1/2. And I'm going to take the Merry Christmas to You and Yours, and I'm going to stamp that. Hopefully it'll stamp. This is a photopolymer, so we'll see. I usually like to use my pad underneath. Looks good. Now, let's see. Here's my banner again, so I'm just going to place that in there. I just center that in the point there, like so. So that is ready to go across the bottom of my card. So we're going to put that. It's still a little long. All right, that's not going to come up now that I use my fast fuse. I'm going to take my handy dandy little scissors here. There we go. Sweet. Okay, so now that I got my little bird stamped, I got my two side pieces. I'm going to take my two-way glue pen and I'm just going to color, over the top. This one feels like it's about empty. That's better. So I'm just going to go over that raised tree bark and the limbs. And we're going to add the dazzling diamonds. Love this. I wish you could see this card in person because with all the sparkle, I cannot take a good picture to save my neck, but in person it is gorgeous. Right, Bill?
Yeah.
Right, Dad? That's what our kids would always say. Right, Dad?
Right.
And for me, it was mom, mom, moon, moon, mom, 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 moon, moon. And they would just keep it up until I said, yep, that's the moon. That was Will, the one that is my computer programmer. Look at that. Love it. But yeah, we'll be all sparkly tonight. Ooh. So now we're just ready to go on the card. I probably should have stuck it on before. Oh, this fast fuse is sticky stuff. It's stuck to my finger. Okay. I opened it up so that you could see where I'm placing them. This is a really quick card. All the sparkles. There we go. I gotta remember to face it towards me because then you can see it better. But can you see the sparkle? Gorgeous. Love it. So that is your horizontal center step.
Yeah.
Okay, so I gotta make room here for my, I'm getting a pile up. Okay, so this is the open center card. It's just open in the center, where the one I just made is, you can see that it's not open in the center.
Looks like a stage.
Open in the center, not open in the center. Ooh, yeah, the play. It's like a diorama.
Yeah, it does.
So these mail in a regular A2 size envelope. They are just a regular card front size. So they do mail flat, and then when they open them up, ta-da, very cute. I did add the trees to the step just so you can see that, like for birthday or whatever, you could put balloons and different things from the steps, and that's where you get your steps card from. So let's get started on this one. This is another red, and this is another 5.5 by 8.5 piece of cardstock. Bring in my trimmer scorer thingy here. We are going to start with 1 inch. So we're going to start at 1 inch. We are going to start our cutting at 1 1/4 inch. So 1 1/4 inch. There we go. And we're going to cut down to 6 and a, that's the scoring blade again. Bill, you're supposed to be watching that.
What do you keep doing?
There's a scoring blade and there's a cutting blade. A scoring blade ain't gonna cut. Okay, so 1 1/4 down to 6 1/4. I am so surprised. I'm not even gonna jinx myself. I'll say it when I'm done. And you probably know where I'm going with this. 1 1/4 down to 6 1/4. And I'm gonna turn it. I'm gonna line this up at 1 1/4. Gonna bring in my score, and not, we're gonna score from the insides only for right now. So we're gonna go from the cut line, which is at 1 inch, down to 4 1/2. I wish that would score deeper. And then we're gonna bring it to 2 1/4. Same thing. We're gonna go from the cut line at 1 inch to 4 1/2. And then we're going to go 3 1/4 cut line. So we're just scoring inside those cut lines. And then at 4 1/4, we want to score all the way across. And then we're going to bring it down to 6 1/4, and we're just going to go inside again. And I'm going to bring in my simply scoring thing too, because it's just not giving me a nice deep score line. All right. So what I was going to say is I'm shocked I haven't cut nothing wrong yet. So I thought I better, before I jinx myself. So we're going to start at the bottom, and you're just going to just like that, like an escalator. And this is kind of thick with all these in the center, so you really want to make sure that you get in there and get them score lines nice and creased. Just like that. Simple, gorgeous. So now I have a piece of Whisper White. And this is 3 1/2 by 3 7/8, and it's going to fit nicely right down inside there like that. Okay, so you're saying, how do I stick that vellum on there? Because you can see, vellum you can see through. So what I do is I get my handy little dandy mini glue dots, and I don't know where did my paper piercer go. I use my scissors, but I like to use the paper piercer. I'm going to just take a glue dot, and the trees that are closest to my outside corner, they get a nice little glue dot because they're green, so you're not going to see that glue dot through to the other side. And I just put one in each corner. I think that's sufficient because those glue dots are super sticky. And then just match that up to the white. Like so. And then that's ready to get put on that back step. You know what? Before I stick that down, I'm going to stick my other stuff on there. This is a piece of gumball green, not gumball green. What am I thinking? It's the new green. It's the Cucumber Crush. It's an in color. And then I ran it through the wood grain textured impressions embossing folder, and that's 1 1/2 by 3 1/2. So I'm going to stick that down my, about the center, I would say, like so. Then I cut a red circle out of using the Circles Framelits. Got to get some dimensionals here. And I'm just going to put one on the top, one on the bottom. I have a white circle that I cut using the circle framelits as well. And that's going to be matted on there. And I just put one on top, one on bottom, so it goes over the top of that textured piece I put down. So now I can go ahead and stick that right in there on my step. Now the trees are from the Festive Trees, I think it is. Something. Yep, Cucumber Crush. Love that new color. And then Real Red. And this tree does have a coordinating tree punch, which we're going to use. And then I went ahead and already did 2. So you're just going to have to watch me do 1. I'm going to ink that up. And I did get my foam pad because it is a photopolymer stamp set. And my Real Red here with the dots. Sweet. Gonna take my little handy dandy punch and we're gonna punch those out. Either these ladies are very quiet tonight or there's nobody watching or Bill's just not saying nothing.
There's like 90 people between live stream and YouTube.
So
a lot of people, they are quiet, but they ask questions and they kind of answer their own questions. So it's kind of self
yeah, but I don't know. I'm
really
sitting here like
self-sufficient.
talking to myself.
No, they're
Then I have in the same stamp set is the Merry Little Wish. A Merry Little Wish. So I'm going to stamp that. Nice. Then I have the little star punch. This is from the little it's a little pack. There's 3 punches. There's the star, the flower, it's something accents pack. I can't think of the name of it. So I want 3 stars. I'm going to use my little dimensionals here and put one of these in each little star. Whoop. So now remember when you watch the video, you can fast forward, you know, if you just want to see how the folds were for the step cards.
sure beats trying to write it all out.
Yeah. So I just put a little glue dot on each star. Like so. Now my center star is going to be popped up with a dimensional. We are almost done. I did pretty good for time.
Yeah, for never practicing, I can't figure out how you got it down to almost exactly an hour.
Well,
because we started a few minutes late.
I'm just that
so
good.
You can go a few minutes over.
I'm just that good. What can I tell you?
I guess.
Yeah, it's just pure luck. Okay, so on this one, I just glue dotted my tree to that step. And this one, I'm going to put it down a little further, and I'm going to pop that one up. So I can just put my dimensional towards the bottom of my tree there. And that's going to go like to the side like that. And then my little thing here, I'm going to use the hexagon punch.
Somebody's going to try to figure out if they can put a T. What is a T? What is a T?
Tea light?
Tea light.
Tea light are those little battery operated or candles.
Okay, so then it's kind of like a powered card.
It's a
Plug it into the wall.
Yep, plug it in.
Cards have come a long way.
Like a Glade plug-in. Okay, so I gotta trim that back a little bit. Still a little long. So my little strip, you can make it as long as you like. That looks pretty good. And then I'm going to pop that on the front as well. So back to my little photo gallery. So you're going to go there and you're going to use the password STEP, or steps with an S. And you're going to get the PDF files, and then you're going to make your own step card, and then you are going to, I don't know what happened to my little rhinestone. You're going to email me a picture of what you made, and I will add your step card to that photo gallery.
Somebody asked on YouTube, Glenda, does your husband help you create cards also?
No.
Well, you see, I actually design the cards, and then I teach Glenda how to do them, and then she makes them for you guys.
In your dreams,
so I'm
buddy.
like the architect of cards.
I would love to see that. Wouldn't you all like to see that?
I'm the card
I would love to see that.
I'm too busy to be making these all the time. I come up with the ideas.
Cute. So this is your open center step card. So those are your step cards for tonight.